You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Keep talking about that, but I'm rewatching King of the Hill. I got to finish that.
We got to look that up. I've never bothered to look that up, see if there was a trivia game for King of the Hill. I know we did our own game.
Well, we did our own.
I know.
Yeah, there you go.
Fucking any other version, Chris. What
but
the
I'm just
hell?
kinda curious.
Brand loyalty.
Oh,
brand loyalty.
Fuck brand loyalty. This ain't cigarettes.
And on that note, welcome to this week's edition of The Couch Potatoes. I'm Alex.
This is Cap
Morrison.
And this week we're going to be diving into The Boys.
I thought we were talking about cigarettes.
Yeah, how we should make our own and get the real money.
Get them before they get rid of menthol.
God damn, you're right. That's a good thing I vape.
Oh, that'll be next, man.
Hey, look, I know they've already gotten rid of most of them, but the thing is I still have like a back supply of the liquid that I made back when I worked at the shop. So I'm like good until that shit runs out.
Fall of 2024. Yeah, this is Alex. Something good for you. He's like, he's got that nicotine itch. He's already did that weird thing with people's eyebrows, but he did it with his fingernails. He's just like, no, he's got a notch in his eyebrow, but not from like an art perspective, but just him just stressing the fuck out. No, man. Pulling and pulling and pulling.
That's just the 2022 version of Dale Gribble. Instead of cigarettes and Mountain Dew, it's fucking vape and Diet Coke.
Yeah. I am Dale Gribble.
Hank. He doesn't exhale.
Oh God, no! But something just about as bad for you as cigarettes and vaping. The Boys.
For real though.
For real though.
We were talking about this the other day about how The Boys is great, but it's not one of those shows. Alex said this. This is it's not a show you start your morning with.
No,
I start my morning with it.
Well, you're a monster.
Well, I like watching people. I am a monster. I like watching. I like watching literally fucked up things. It makes my day. If I could just do a study on that.
Yeah.
See if I can get a grant to get like 50 people to watch the saddest fucking shit and just like measure how much tears come out of their face.
What time are we meeting up? 6 in the morning.
6 in the morning. Well, we watching Schindler's List. The object is not to cry.
It's like 9 o'clock. All right, you got to go work at 10. Enjoy your day. Just like fuck.
Put those little diodes and wires everywhere on someone's body. If I see you flinch during the dick scene
of The Boys.
Yeah, you lose money. You start off like $100 an hour, and then it just starts whittling down. Every time you're just like, God damn.
Dude, oddly enough, as fucked up as this show is, there have been a couple of moments that made me pumped up for like the next episode. Like what's gonna happen next? I can't wait a week. You know.
Well, I think it's just part of like that. I don't know. We also grew up in that era where, you know, you would run across those shock websites online and shit like that. And it's like, it would freak you out, but then you'd be like, but what else is out there?
Oh, dude.
You know, so it's like, we kind of come from that generation. So maybe this show was also just kind of preying into that a little bit.
I think so. People our age, like I remember like having a roommate in college that would like go to efucked.com every fucking day to be like, dude, take a look at this. And it would be like
the most horrendous shit.
It's like fucking war zones in Iraq and shit like that on top of, you know, fucked up sex shit.
Oh yeah. Just tons of shit. And you're just like, damn.
Yeah. So we're just
so now we just have a TV show version
where
of
all
it.
of that is in it.
Yes, fucked up sex and horrible body gore.
Blood, guts, and pussy. Like the Dwarfs cover.
I was gonna say Blag would love this. No, season 3 though. We did retrospectives on seasons 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure I put it on the main feed after I put, you know, the Couch Potatoes from Patreon to
Yeah, the only thing we're missing
everything
from our Patreon channel was the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
And I did that on purpose because I feel like since that was our earliest thing, not for us to go back and redo those episodes, but maybe do an episode on the prequels, an episode on the original trilogy, just as kind of a new perspective on it, especially with all the new canon that's come out.
Yeah, sure.
That just might be something.
Yeah.
Down the road.
We're always talking about Star Wars anyway.
Exactly.
Star Wars.
The Star Wars.
Yeah.
But no, overall, what did we think of season 3 before we kind of go episode by episode? We've been doing that here lately.
Hardcore 5 out of 7.
5 out of 7.
I see what you did there.
No, I don't get that, but
No,
You don't get why it's scored
No,
out
what
of
is that?
Out of what?
out of 7.
why 7?
The 7.
Oh,
So, Cap, we're reviewing The Boys this week.
right. Well, that was a pull. Anyway,
I don't know. I give it like a high B
Yeah.
on a scale.
that's
Like,
kind of where I'm at. Yeah, high B. I really liked it. I was entertained. There was a lot of like shit that kept me on my seat, but also like
it's a highlight for the summer, really. Like it.
I think
compared
so.
to everything else that's come out during the summer, show wise, it's in the top. It's in the top 3.
Yeah, because
because, like,
I
I
still
can't
think Obi-Wan was still really damn
Yeah, like
good.
we still got you still got Obi-Wan, you still got Stranger Things, you got this, you got so much
Snowfall.
other stuff. Yeah, Snowfall. You got so much other content that's coming out, and plus other stuff we're waiting on. So right now, yeah, it's top 3.
I'd say highlight for sure. Now it's one of those shows that I look forward to seeing every year now.
Yeah, and they had started filming the season 4 a few weeks ago. They've already started that one, so I could see us getting another this time next year.
Hopefully, yeah.
Season 4, and Stranger Things won't come back out till 2024. So
Yeah.
With the boys, though, it kind of seems like they've kind of started pushing more buttons and kind of tested more boundaries to see what they can get away with on a platform like Amazon.
yeah, so the guy that does the show, Eric Kripke, he made another show that was okay, Supernatural.
Oh, really?
about
Yeah,
it,
that was
yeah.
him. And when he first started, he was very like Scooby-Doo esque. The characters like Jensen Ackles is the guy that plays Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
It's very in the beginning. It's very like ghost hunting type stuff, and then it goes further, and then the next season goes a little bit further on what they could do.
Right.
And he really plays up fan service. But the great thing about him doing this, he made it very clear, like, oh no, we're going to do this part of the comic, and we're going to do this part, and he stood his ground. But also with Amazon, as we know, fucking make it, man. Like we don't care what
They
you
have the
fucking
budget, and it's like for that.
You want to make a bloody cartoon about an unknown superhero in the mainstream? Yeah, we did it. Hell, we even got J.K. Simmons to be in the fucker.
Yeah, for real. Well, they got Seth Rogen on this too, and he's just even his comedy movies, he's just always pushing buttons to see what he can get away with too.
Yeah, I mean, plus this cast, a lot of them are like pretty unknown people. Carl Urban is like the only one who's had like a film career, but the great cool thing about Carl Urban is he'll do anything. He'll be in any goddamn thing.
I mean, you got to when you're working like that, I guess. But
Yeah.
I think it's like the biggest role I've seen him in for sure. I know he was in Thor too.
He's been in Thor, Star Trek, this.
Very genre specific.
He's been in
kinda-
like 4 other comic movies. He was in Preacher, the movie
Again,
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he's in Lord of the Rings. So
okay.
fandom wise, yeah,
Born
he's the,
Supremacy.
yeah,
Star Trek,
Dredd.
But with-
he played Judge Dredd.
and with Preacher
that was
too.
shit.
That's another like a Seth Rogen connection too.
Yeah, and like his list of movies are a lot of nerd fandom stuff.
Right.
He was in Xena,
Really?
the Warrior Princess. He's in that show.
No, he just has that that exaggerated like. I can't tell if he's English or Australian with the accent too. It kind of blends together.
Yeah, he's from New Zealand, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but
No, but I love his character in this, especially in this season.
yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Chris is a lot more knowledgeable on the comics and stuff. I'm guessing you read some of them
yeah.
before or after the
After
series.
season 2 came out,
Okay.
I finally finished it.
Yeah. Well, when did you start reading the comics? Did you know about the comics before the series, or did the series?
I was a fan of the comic Preacher, and Garth Ennis was a part of that. Seth Rogen was part of that.
Yeah.
But Garth Ennis is known for his fucked up comics. That was one I read before that I kind of regret reading. It was called Crossed.
Oh, I've heard about
And
that.
Crossed is a very bloody, rough series where there's no like hope. There is no the good guys prevail, or as soon as they do, they will be killed.
Kind of sounds like this series.
Like with the great thing about the boys in the comics and even in the TV show, it's your protagonist and your antagonist, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's a great superhero story, and it kind of delves into the same path of like Injustice did.
Yeah.
Of like, let's take a guy who's uber powerful, almost unstoppable, and see what happens if he was a human being. Like, or had they had the mannerisms of a human being. Like we've talked about this before, like Superman. Oh no, he's ultra powerful, he's ultra good. That's what makes him a great fictional character, because he wouldn't be altruistic, he wouldn't be perfect, but that's what makes him a great fictional character, because he is.
Yeah.
He's always good. Homelander has good tendencies, but then he'll tell a bitch to jump off the roof. Like, it's like,
yeah, and what I was getting at about you knowing a little bit more about the comics is Butcher in the comics is a lot more irredeemable than the show portrays him to be.
Yeah, so Butcher is not likable at all. He has a very specific reasons of why he does what he does.
So just as nefarious as, like, say, a Homelander or something like that.
If not worse.
He's supposed to be just as bad, if not worse. Than
by the time you end it in the comics, you really don't know who's worse. And it's fucked up that way, because it's like, in the storyline of the comics, he doesn't have any, like, saving grace.
Right.
Homelander is a monster. But by the end of the comics, it's like, I can't tell who the real bad guy is.
It seems like it could go in that direction after this season,
and this season, he does. He becomes that. He becomes the irredeemable asshole. They try to pepper in stuff like he had a rough childhood, which was in season 1 and 2. His wife died. His son. This is not his son. These are things the show tries to push to where you want to like Butcher, but in all actuality, he's not likable.
No,
he's not. He's a vengeful prick,
and he's got to sink down to, like, these villains level to get what he wants.
And that was a great thing that Eric Kripke did. That was one of the things he wanted to keep in. He's like, no, I don't want this guy to be liked. Like, he can't be liked, and that's why you have your MMs, your Hughie.
Even though he kind of started
in the comics. In the comics, Hughie is almost irredeemable. Because like very early on, it's just like, oh no, Hughie's a fucking psychopath because his wife died.
I mean, they kind of fucking, they make him an asshole in this series too.
Like, I'm not spoiling anything because the comic's fucking years old.
Well, also spoiler for the whole fucking thing if you're listening to this.
But like, Butcher and Hughie go at it in a really fucked up way that could be the next season. You'd never know, but we'll get to why. But these guys are your likable ones. Mm-hmm. Your MMs, Hughie and Starlight, Kamiko, and the other guy, the drug dealer. Yeah. These guys are likable because they're just wrong for the ride. Mm-hmm. He asked for help and they came.
Yeah.
Now they have skills, but they don't have the drive of doing nasty shit like Butcher does.
By the way, I like Amazon's flex with Mother MM. Anytime he shows up, he's wearing like a different hip hop t-shirt.
Yes.
It's just like, that's just Amazon going like, we have the rights to all of these fucking logos.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and they've actually created like a small mythos around the whole thing. Like in the background, if you look, there's a lot of like posters and stuff like that, fictional things that are actually in the boys comic.
Yeah.
So there's a flyer in MM's apartment that we see that all the time, and it's like a Black Panther one, but it's not really a Black Panther one. And I'm just like, oh, that's a cool little Easter egg if you know what you're looking for. And I didn't notice until the last episode. But
yeah, let's go ahead and go episode to episode. Episode 1 was Payback. 1 year after the Stormfront scandal, the boys work as contractors for Victoria Newman's Bureau of Superhero Affairs to apprehend rogue supes, with Hughie Campbell as her liaison.
Yes, so they've kind of consolidated Butcher's team into a government-funded group,
led by one of the more dangerous ones.
Yeah, and it's a good pull because it gives them resources, it gives them what they need to do, it gives them information.
But they don't know Victoria's.
No. The great thing about Victoria is she's the worst of them all.
Yeah.
She knows what she's capable of. She knows what she wants to do, and she will do it.
She is the Stephanie McMahon of this operation with with Gustavo Fring as Vince.
Gustavo Fring.
Yeah.
That's not his kid.
That's what he'll always be to me.
You got to say it right. Fring.
That's right.
Giancarlo Esposito, one of the greatest villains. And shout out to him on Far Cry 6 for being a badass villain in that too.
Yeah, he's just become your go-to TV villain actor now.
Yeah.
And he's great at it.
But no, Hughie is like her right-hand man too, which I thought was pretty cool,
Yeah.
Because Hughie, who went from a guy who worked at an electronics shop to becoming a soup killer.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the food. Because if you think about it, like 2 days after beating Butcher, he kills one of the 7.
Yeah.
Like, and that's on his motherfucking resume for life. Like, hey, you remember that guy you killed? Yeah. He was, really liked. Yeah, you killed him. Like,
so you might as well have assassinated the president.
yeah, you might as well work for the government. And he does. He ends up working for the government.
Exactly.
Which is like some weird pseudo version of the X-Men, like anti-government part, the anti-X-Men government.
Right, anti-mutant, like X-Men 3 with the anti-mutants.
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
At which point, Stan Egger appoints Annie, who is now publicly dating Hughie, the co-captain of the 7, to repair Vought's international reputation with the unsuccessfully attempting to sell the V-24 Compound V variant that temporarily grants superpowers to the Secretary of Defense, Robert Singer. So at this point, it's just kind of gone south because of Homelander's bullshit and everything else that's gone bad. The Stan is now not getting the contracts he wants, in which you kind of figure out through this whole season that money really does rule Vought.
Oh, this is just like a play on what American corporations and stuff like that too. It's kind of like seeing we joked about. It's a business, exactly. There's I think Vaught's kind of it seems like they're Disney or like WWE or something like that, like an entertainment group.
Oh yeah, well it's like we always knew they were the evil in all of this, but evil comes in many forms. What is the ultimate evil that they want? Do they want ultimate power? Yeah, to a point, but you really find out that Stan's ultimate goal in this is money. He doesn't care about how popular it is and everything else. He just wants money.
And it is money, but it's also the power too, because remember,
to have control over fucking Homelander.
It has more power than anyone because he can control the view. So Stormfront, going back to season 2, Stormfront caused the issue with being a Nazi.
Yeah.
Right.
Homelander being associated with her drops him down a peg because people don't say that part out loud.
These are ratings. Everybody gets scale. It's like Instagram followers and shit like that.
And so it's run kind of like a Disney corporation who also sells missiles.
Yeah.
So all right, cool. We really love Captain America, but he's really too American, and it's let's make him Sam the black,
right.
let's just change it up. And I could tell watching it and going back to the guy that's running for president, Singer. That's another little thing if you're a fan of the show Supernatural. He just kept the same name.
Oh, nice.
It's just the same fucking name. He plays Robert Singer in the show Supernatural. He plays Robert Singer in this.
That's hilarious.
Because I was thinking about it as soon as you said, I'm just no, there's no way that. I just realized that was an Easter egg.
Nice.
But and he's a great actor because I just love how he's just sitting there with Stan, realizing you are sitting with Gustavo Fring,
right?
You are sitting with a guy who could have you killed, and holy shit, the amount of asinine conversation he has to have with this man just to be told, we're giving your military superpowers,
right?
Shut the fuck up.
Well, see, the reason why I say though, they of course want power, duh.
Yes.
They need the power, but I still feel like money is Stan's ultimate goal because he makes it very clear that he does not give a shit about Homelander.
Oh, that's his job.
The only reason he cares about Homelander is because it keeps the image of Vought.
Yeah.
If he was able to just at a press of a button get rid of all the soups and be able to just license out that Compound V to the government, he would. So that's why I really feel like his ultimate goal is just the money of it all. He wants a successful chain of superhumans.
Well,
through that will come power.
Well, as a CEO, that is his job, is to make the company more profitable than ever.
Yeah.
And that's why, going into the show, he does what he does, even from the early 80s. What the steps he takes are steps toward, all right, an image makes money, money gives you the power. So, I understand what you're saying. it is kind of a smart play to just be a weapon seller, but eventually those weapons are used against you. That's why he keeps the 7, because those are the top tier. All the other ones that Vought makes, they do the same thing like we did with fast food. They S, A, B, C, D tier these motherfuckers, and that's why we have these other superheroes we see that have powers, but they're not superheroes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They're like the A, B, C, D tier kind of
and that's
levels and shit.
You know, and on Stan's part, it's smart to keep the strongest,
but it's
fastest,
but it's also entertainment too.
But also the cruelest of them all at the top, because he could be like, I can replace you with this guy. He's likable. And in the back of Stan's mind, he's like, this guy's costing us money. Let's kill this motherfucker right now. Let's just go ahead and get this done.
And see, and right there, that line there is also what leads me to believe that money's his ultimate thing. This guy is costing us money. Let's kill him. He genuinely doesn't care about even the image of a superhero. He just cares about the image making some cash.
Well, the image of the superhero is the image of Vought.
Yeah,
because it's like a Disney brand. You know, it's like if a tainted brand gets in there, guess what? We're not going to make movies about that shit anymore.
Yeah,
like it's tainted. We'll bring it back in 20 years as a nostalgia thing. Make a Pixar movie, and that's
Mulan. We're going to wait a little bit.
Yeah, this is what Vought is. It's if Disney had missiles, like you said.
Yeah, let's try not to film a movie about women's empowerment in a place where the Holocaust is happening for Muslims. Let's try not to do that, guys.
It's going to be a while before we see Bear Creek.
So it is an image thing, and I love the fact that
good. I'm glad you caught that.
I love that they use the rating system. This like Gallup poll of all the superheroes, and she's likable more than Homelander. One, because she's not some all powerful asshole killing people. She hasn't been there long enough, so there's not enough there to hate her,
and she looks innocent and sweet and all that too.
She's the girl next door,
right?
Who could burn your eyes out.
Yeah.
And then Chris's favorite character, Queen Maeve, secretly works with Butcher and has him investigate Payback, a disbanded superhero team whose leader, Soldier Boy, mysteriously died, in hopes of finding a weapon capable enough of killing Homelander. At this point, they're still on that thing of we just got to kill the motherfucker.
So this is a great little storyline because it gives you a tiered timeline. So before Homelander and the 7 and their movies and their popularity and the rating system,
there was
Soldier Boy, Reagan's top man,
not the rapper.
Yeah,
but there's basically Captain America too.
Boy.
Tell him.
But like Soldier Boy is the first superhuman. Like he's the Captain America one, which kind of plays into the whole Vought serum making soups. They're not.
But real quick, I thought about this, and I'm glad you brought this part up because I meant to ask you about this after the episode was done, but then I put it in the back of my head. I was like, "Now we're going to talk about it on the show." So Soldier Boy was the first superhuman. Didn't we get exposition? I hadn't rewatched the season since it aired, but in season 2, didn't we get exposition from Stormfront talking to Homelander, saying that Stormfront was the very first one, and that Homelander was supposed to be the better one of her, and that's part of the reason she liked him so much.
She gives a very detailed explanation in this real quick. In that conversation, she's like, "You are the best of us."
Right.
So that gives a connotation that we failed a lot of fucking times. You are Project 938.
Yeah.
And we nailed it. We fucking nailed it. 937 of them are fucking useless.
Right.
And Soldier Boy is that. He is a part of it. So thing about Soldier Boy is
is he number 1?
No. So Stormfront is actually number 1. That's why she's still standing, because she was born in 1929.
Right.
She was endowed with superpowers, lightning, and eternal youth.
Yeah, I don't think we really get a year on what year Soldier Boy in the show.
So Soldier Boy
got his power.
So we know Soldier Boy fought in World War II.
Yeah,
fought, quote unquote.
Yeah. He appeared in Normandy, which happened on June 6, 1941.
Right.
So he had to be probably in his 20s, so he's probably born in the 20s. And him to do the invasion of Normandy would have to be somewhere in June of 41.
Yeah.
So we at least know he's born in the 1920s at the guesstimation.
Right.
All right. So at some point, and he talks about his dad being a steel baron. Steel barons were big in the 20s. So most likely,
it's all lining up.
It's all lining up.
And he refers to meth as bennies.
Yeah,
also
bennies.
big in the 20s.
Yes, big in the 20s, 30s, and 40s because that's how you beat fucking armies. Put your guys on bennies.
Yes,
and the jets. So it's safe to say he was probably born in 1919, 1920. 1941 comes around. He's 20, 21. He joins Vought. His dad, he talks about his dad being a shitheel. So he takes a shortcut, becomes the greatest American hero, fights in Normandy, Korea, Vietnam, all the way up to the 80s and the Contras, where we meet him with Edgar and Payback.
Yes.
And think about...
Which we do get kind of in that little bit of a background slightly in this scene, too.
The only thing is, in the comics, Soldier Boy is just a name.
Yeah.
In the comics, Soldier Boy existed, fought, and died, and then someone else picked up the mantle.
Yeah.
Oh,
So in
okay.
the
So
comics,
it really is a little bit more of
because
a
he
Captain
ages.
America mirror.
Yeah, so he ages like Captain America. It takes a while, but he does age. And it goes into Captain America because you can freeze him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with the whole Payback team, it is this like first X-Men XT, which I think is fucking hilarious because you have Crimson Countess, which is a great allegory for like Psyche or what's her name? Kind of like a Miss Marvel back when she was blonde. And had the giant S on her chest.
Yeah.
And then you had the Dynamite Twins, which are the Justice League Wonder Twins.
Yeah,
was gonna
Wonder
say-
Twins activate.
And they're shit people.
Yeah.
You had like your Professor X type character.
That gets in your mind.
Yeah, and you had your Bucky.
and Black Noir.
You had Black Noir. And, you had all these characters, that were part of a expedition force. And you had the Dragonfly guy. I forgot about him. He got killed by Sam.
That's right.
A short air missile.
Right.
But yeah, so essentially, Soldier Boy mysteriously dies in one of those scenes.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, whatever killed him could possibly kill Homelander as well.
Yes.
So we need to find this weapon. So yeah, so they kind of send them off on that path. And then let's see. She also gives Butcher several vials of the V24.
Talking about Maeve does, right?
Yes, Queen Maeve, which is the temp V, we'll just call it.
Yeah.
And basically he's kind of scoffs at it at first, but then like kind of turns around and uses
Not
it
gonna
later.
be like you lot, or whatever the fuck he says.
She's like, just in case. He's just like, I will fucking need
Well,
it.
that's something they try to do to make him redeemable. He's like, I have a line I'm not going to cross, but then he just fucking crosses it.
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately.
Without hesitation.
And like the casualness of shooting up
Yes.
a fucking green, neon green substance that looks like it was made for
Heroin.
like soup heroin. And like,
But they treat it like they're smoking cigarettes in this fucking show.
yeah, and like he's just casually shooting up. And what was cool is, which I don't like, is we see adults get compound V, and they become superheroes. We see other ones that are children, which works out just a little better. But we see what his powers would be.
Yeah.
Which is Homelander. He would be Homelander, a super powered brute with laser vision and flight, because we see him fly for a temporary second. And I'm like, that's it. That's the crux of the thing. It's who has power and who maintains power. It's the great story of like, it's like a Spider-Man Venom type thing. It's like, oh no, I could be the bad guy, or I could still be Spider-Man.
And the thing is, too,
I could eat people, or I could be Venom.
Yeah.
the more I'm kind of thinking about it, they really did do a good job at trying to show that Butcher is just as bad as Homelander, just without the powers. And in fact, they kind of lean into the whole idea that Butcher would be worse than Homelander. Because think about it. With Homelander's powers, even without going into the further episodes, just from what we've seen in season 1 and 2 between flashbacks and this little bit already, he has done a lot of irredeemable, horrible things. All in the name of wanting family, trying to force people to love him.
Yeah.
Whether it be trying to force his love on Queen Maeve, and you kind of learning about that backstory and all that. So it's like everything he's doing is in motivation of wanting love, wanting family. You see, when Butcher gets his powers, he's just like, ha ha ha, fuck you, fuck you. he doesn't have any sort of redeeming pull to having his power other than destruction. As bad as Homelander is, his destruction is through what he sees an end goal to be.
Yeah.
There's really no end goal when Butcher has his power other than destroy.
Yeah.
So if Butcher had permanent V, he would actually be worse than Homelander.
Yeah.
It's like, well, after you kill Homelander,
Just from a
what's
mental
next?
standpoint.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of interesting because it winds up going into the second episode a bit more because basically they just kind of end this one up with Hughie encounters a guy named Tony who claims to be Newman's best friend and calls her Nadia, which is a little odd. He was just like, that's the first little sign of people figuring her out, I feel like. Which at that point, Hughie follows the pair into an alley where Tony urges her to tell the truth about Red River. She refuses, prompting Tony to reiterate before she kills him with her powers, unaware of Hughie's presence. So at that point, now Hughie knows she's the bitch that's been blowing up heads.
So we do see like that guy does have some type of superpower, some type of super strength a little bit because she
it took
hugs
a
him.
minute.
Yeah, she hugs him, and that's when her eyes roll back and she starts popping arteries in the dude's brain, and he realizes what's happening, and he drops that bitch.
Yeah.
And that's when we see like, oh, she's a little bit tougher than the rest, and then boom, and she doesn't just pop a head; she pops the whole goddamn corpse.
It just explodes.
Yeah, it looks like a Cannibal Corpse cover. I think it does.
And then episode 2 is as the boys are investigating Soldier Boy's death, Hughie visits Red River.
Are we not going to talk about that one part from episode 1?
Do we have to?
Here's a quick
I
summary.
was just going to slide through it.
Here's a quick summary. Ant-Man blows up a dude's dick in the body. I sat here cackling like a goddamn Disney villain. This motherfucker's curled up like he just watched a house fire. Right? And that was the end of that.
I know, and I was just kind of like, oh, that happened.
And that is a funny fucking story. Like them filming that because the interviews for this show, they talk about, oh, when we did Hero-gasm, some of us walked off set and had to take a smoke break. And like
we're not even to Hero-gasm yet.
But when they talk about this scene, they're like, oh, episode 1, yeah, we all had to take a fucking break because like and it was because they got told of it. They didn't film it. They were told what was going to happen. And like, I love the guy that plays MM's response. He's like, I swear to God, I would have quit this show if they had gone up my ass. Because that was the scary part of it. Because the guy turned really small like Ant-Man and going up his leg. He's like, hey, he's in my leg. He's in my leg. He's going to my ass.
I wonder if that's a Seth Rogen idea. I could see him going like, what if it goes inside his dick?
I found out it was like fan service for all the people who wanted the whole Ant-Man Thanos thing.
Oh my God.
It was just a funny joke.
Yeah, no, because in the Discord, I think Paul and Eric had both started watching the show before either Chris and I had gotten to yet.
Yeah.
And because they'd come out in the middle of watching Stranger Things, and we were like, no, Stranger Things.
Yeah, right. The strangest of things.
And so it took us a few days to watch it, and finally we were just like, fuck it, let's put it on. And in the Discord, they just kept saying, geez, episode 1, ... don't sneeze.
I know
don't
it.
sneeze, guys. And I'm like, what's that about? And we finally get to it, and then it's like, we see him get small and like start scratching his nose, and I'm like, oh, no.
From
So it's
doing
like,
blow. And
yeah, so it's like a good 15 seconds before it happened, I knew it was about to happen. I'm like, no.
you see that other thing where it's just like you see like a deflated playpen or some shit like that, and it looks like a dick with a dude outside of it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh no. So
yeah.
it's like I was already cringing when he was going in the urethra,
Right.
and then like by the time the pop happened, I'm like already like clutching my knees, just like and Chris is over here,
My favorite part is when Butcher gets him in a fucking baggie of Coke.
Oh yeah, and shakes him.
Shakes
like
him.
he's fucking chicken shake and bake.
And he's just like, he pours them on the table, and of course he's just covered in cocaine. Just
And
like,
he's dying.
Yeah, and then Butcher's like, fucking lightweight.
And it's just like, oh, Butcher, you would survive a mountain of cocaine.
Yeah.
fucking hell, I would.
But yeah, that happened.
But yeah, that's all of episode 1.
Yeah.
It gets so much worse.
Because it shows the thing about Butcher too, because he could have killed him. He could have just squished that motherfucker.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. And then Hughie visits Red River, the orphanage for superpowered children, and copies its records, learning that Newman is Edgar's adopted daughter, which I thought was a pretty interesting little tie-in.
I love
there.
Hughie going to this place because it's under the pretense that
He's gonna adopt
him
one.
and Starlight are going to adopt.
Yeah.
And then he meets these fucking kids and he is scared
Yeah.
shitless.
Yes.
There's like the teleporting kid who's just like right there in his face, play with a block, then right back in his face. And it's just like,
That's
what
scary.
What the fuck?
Picture little kids from
With
like
soup.
parents that you know with powers.
This is kids from The Incredibles. Like, it's the baby, Jack, it's the baby, and it's just like, he turns into a demon. Yeah. Which, there's an Easter egg about that in Monsters, Inc. I think it's funny.
Frenchie and Kimiko, or Kimiko,
Kimiko.
Yeah, I've always just said, yeah, whatever.
The
Confronts-
unmasker of Scooby-Doo gang.
Yes.
She has the greatest Scooby. It's like the Scooby-Doo fatality.
Yeah.
She just rips their mask off. That's their face.
They confront Soldier Boy's widow, Crimson Countess, at Vought's theme park, but she escapes and mistakenly kills an innocent in process.
So Kimiko, they go. So there's two reasons they're going.
Yeah.
Kimiko never really went to a theme park, and Kimiko has like the campiest ideas of fun. She likes
Right.
Well, she
roller
also has the
coasters.
campiest ideas of America.
Yeah, so she wants to go see a roller coaster. She wants to have the big burger. She wants to.
She's
listen
been in
to
Russia for
musicals.
like all her life
Yeah,
or whatever.
she was in like the Red Dragon traffic ring or some shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, she has a nostalgia look at everything, which is cool. You know, for someone as beastly as she is,
It's very innocent.
it's great. It works out for her because she does have like an innocent face, unless she's ripping off another man's face.
Right.
Or punching her fist through their chest.
Yes. So it kind of creates this false narrative of what she thinks everything is, because Frenchie's like, yeah, we could go on this, we could do this, but we have to do this first. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. It's not that imperative.
Frenchie, run away.
Like,
Run
they go-
away with the girl.
Like, yeah, that's exactly the whole crux of it. Like, just fucking leave, man.
Yeah,
you
and
don't
that-
have
it's
to
kind
do
of-
this.
And that's kind of their argument back and forth in the whole season. And I'm kind of on Kimiko's side. I'm like, y'all just go.
Yeah, go
Like-
to Vaultland.
She didn't want to kill.
Well, because I'm sitting here going, I'm like, Huey's got Starlight. Fuck Butcher. You know, even though he's an enjoyable character on the show, if I knew him in real life, fuck Butcher.
Yeah.
You know, you know, he really just wants to be with his fucking family. Frenchie, run off with your girl and go live your life, man. Go ahead, enjoy yourself.
And what I like about this, there's I don't know if you like, you know, when you kind of like see something one time, you start noticing it everywhere. The sign language part.
Yeah.
So we have ASL here in America, American Sign Language, but there's also variants in Europe and Asia and stuff like that.
Right.
She uses a variant, which I think is pretty neat. I had never seen before, and then I started seeing it in other stuff like in the Eternals and stuff like that, and. Like on an exclusive, inclusive part of it, it's neat.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, the amount of detail that went into her trying to sign in 3 different continents sign language is hilarious. And the fact that Frenchie knows every single one of them is another part of him. I'm just like, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
Props to
I would have a
Frenchie.
fucking field day trying to mime with this bitch.
Fuck, I never would've
about,
caught
do you
that.
want a fucking cotton candy or some shit? Or a ride on the teacups? Like, I can't tell what you want.
I can see you now, just your deadpan stare, just.
Yeah, like I only know enough to hang out with the deaf. Enough. But
You're like, hi, how are you?
yeah, like I about shot one time.
I thought he was talking shit.
He was talking shit. He was miming shit, dude. I saw that shit.
The fuck did you say to me?
I saw you talking shit, motherfucker.
I like it when there's a scene in the movie. She's like. He's like, stop yelling! Because they do that in the Addams Family with Thing. He's just like doing
Yes.
this. He's like, I hate when you stutter. But no, it's something I caught very early on in the show when they started hanging out with her, and when they rescue her and stuff like that. But now she's part of the gang, and I think they kind of like underestimate her a lot of times because she could casually kill all of them.
And that's what happens. She accidentally kills, like, to bypass her. Or was it her or the other lady? I thought it was Kimiko that did. Because that was, like, kind of led to her feeling Like she was a monster. She killed an innocent.
Well, that was later on.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But so
it was Crimson Countess that killed.
So Crimson Countess, they do the fight with Crimson Countess, and I love the first they grab her hands, and it's just like because if she puts her hands together, you're fucked.
Yeah,
because she's like a laser beam the whole fucking time.
Right.
But
they love their laser beams on this show.
Yeah, it's probably cheap to make.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's like 80 Star Wars. It got cheap after a while.
Oh yeah.
But like the funny thing is, like, you see a superhero downfall from their prime. So she was like big in the 80s, maybe in the 90s, but after that she runs a chimpanzee reserve because now she's by herself. She's got her own brand, she's got her own fucking theme park.
And you know what she reminded me of? Carol Baskins.
She does cam girl stuff at night.
Yes.
For like what, $400 a minute or some ridiculous shit.
It was like you see the ticker going. It's Seth Rogen's like, all right, I appreciate this fucking shit, but like you gotta keep us going. Right. But no, she escapes, and I think that's pretty funny because it's like, you know, you see the part where she kills the mascot.
Yeah.
Blows his giant foam head off.
Right.
And there's
just
blood
and guts everywhere.
And Kamiko's like, ah!
Kamiko's like, God damn it. Like,
well, actually, Kamiko's like,
dead.
Yeah. But she's like, she wanted a day off.
Yeah, and like they deserved a fucking day off after, you know, trying to fight Ant-Man.
Yeah. They go to Faultland, Disneyland, whatever, and their day is ruined by blood and guts yet again.
Yeah.
And then we find out that she's really into musicals too, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
All the while, after learning about Newman's powers from Hughie, Butcher does take a dose of the Temp V and uses it to kill Soldier Boy's former sidekick, Gunpowder.
Gunpowder became a psychopath. So, what was cool about Gunpowder is he was like a Bucky, but his special skill was shooting guns. So he had like that Deadpool type accuracy, kind of like Bullseye.
Yeah.
That's who he reminded me of, Bullseye.
Like never misses,
Never
that kind
misses.
of trope.
And so with Butcher, he took the Temp V.
Yeah.
But it took a while to activate. And so he gets clipped in the leg.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a knockdown drag out between him and this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it's all in the crux that Butcher thinks he was molested by Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
He was not. He was beaten as a child, though, by Soldier Boy, which I think was a cool little changeover,
right?
Because it goes from sexual abuse to just regular abuse,
right?
And then he gets fucking angry, and then they go toe to toe, and that's when it comes out. The confession was it was a group effort to not kill Soldier Boy, but to sell him out, and that was a cool fucking because we saw the battle and it's Butcher. He's betrayed again by the CIA agent woman, so she lied again. And she keeps fucking lying because she lied about Lamplighter. Now she's lying about this shit. And it's like, how deep did this fucking go, you bitch? Because I think she knows more now.
Yeah.
I think she probably knows a lot fucking more.
It's a CIA agent. What do you expect?
Yeah. Because you had made the point of, hey, do you think so-and-so's alive? Well, after hearing this bitch talk, yeah, I think he might be a fucking alive.
Yeah.
But that goes into Butcher losing control.
Yeah.
Like Homelander does.
And that's when he just starts...
Yeah, he cuts through this motherfucker like Jason. Like,
for real.
It's rough. Like, and you see that shit, and you're like, God damn, he might be able to. Like, when I first saw it, it wasn't my mind of him losing control. It was my mind of
he might actually be fucking Homelander.
He might in a knockdown drag out. Yeah, he might put one on him
because that's why you're going into this. Like, when are we going to see the character of Homelander get fucking destroyed? You know, that's why I'm invested.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I'll touch on that a little bit. Before we started up the episode, I said that it felt like this season kind of spun its wheels. And as much cool shit that happens in this series, a lot of cool shit can happen when you're spinning your wheels, though. It felt like the story itself didn't progress as far as the previous 2 seasons had progressed the story. Because, for instance, we ended season 2 with, we gotta kill Homelander. We didn't even see Homelander get beat up.
Well, I'm sitting here listening to Chris's analysis of the original series and how we're seeing these characters of Homelander and Butcher kind of change as these stories progress too. And
right, but if the whole thing is we need to kill Homelander, well, duh, we're not going to kill him in this season. You can't kill him in this season. But I wanted to see Homelander get hurt. I wanted to see him get beat up. Like a whole lot of people get hurt and beat up, but not Homelander.
Well,
and that's the reason I say it felt like we kind of spun.
He does kind of take a beating in episode 7.
Yeah, you see him bleed and get cut up, and see people respond to it in the series too.
Going to episode 7 where he's fighting,
but it wasn't the boys.
It was Butcher, Hughie, and Soldier Boy fighting Homelander.
Yeah,
and that was almost a fucking done deal until he flew away.
But
he was taking a beating.
But that idea of like the hero and the villain switching roles potentially later on is intriguing because, it's kind of like in Game of Thrones where like the Homelander-esque heel character in that show gets killed off in like the season 3. Well, then what do you do from there as far as like, what are you invested in? And then you all of a sudden you have like 18 different fucking storylines.
Well, see, and I would have been cool with that. Like, I hope they don't try to redeem Homelander.
They won't.
No.
There's no way to.
I think
there's no way to redeem.
By giving him his family.
No, because that's a corruption of the family unit.
Yeah, but if Homelander's happy,
all too fucking bad. That's like Darth Vader getting Luke at the end of fucking Jedi. Let's like say like, oh, is Darth Vader redeemable because he kills Palpatine at the end and now Luke's okay? No. Yeah. He still slaughtered people. Yeah. Well, he's still a villain.
I guess at the end of the day, I just don't want Homelander to be happy. That's where I.
And that's great. That's the great thing about storytelling is if you hate the person enough to wish that level of hate, that's great writing.
Yeah, that's why I like the series so much.
And that's what I liked about Game of Thrones because there's the one character. It's like, oh my god, I hate this bitch.
And I think that's why they've done a good job, but not a good enough job on making Butcher just as unredeemable as Homelander. Because at the end of the day, I would still like Butcher just to be happy. Because I feel like if he was just happy, he would knock his shit off.
I think he's still the face, the baby face in this.
A little bit. Like, he's done some bad shit, but in this bad shit universe, it feels like he has that little bit of, like, if he could just get his shit over with, he'll be okay. I don't want that for Homelander, though.
So a great look at this is episode 1 of the series is we see Homelander and Maeve take out a terrorist or whatever, and they eviscerate this motherfucker. And then we're introduced to Butcher with Hughie, and he takes down a soup immediately. That's the same story, just on different parallels. A soup killed a human being killed a soup. They're on a crash course until it's just them two. So there is no protagonist, antagonist. This is an immovable object hitting an unstoppable force. And whatever happens is just collateral. None of them give a shit. And that's what I liked about it, because it carries over to this season very hard, because no matter how much Butcher needs to be happy, he can't be happy.
Yeah.
What he's based upon is vengeance. There is no other emotion in storytelling that you can add to that character and still make him likable. Like in The Punisher. The Punisher is nothing but vengeance and hate. You're not supposed to like him at all.
It's like the anti-hero.
Yeah, and he's doing something with drive and force that seems good. That's something that, like a revenge fantasy. But that's it. If you try to rewrite him a different way, you fuck up the whole narrative. Mm-hmm. You can't make him into a Peter Parker type character. You can't make him likable.
Well, the reason I say that, though, is like, so in season 2, though, Butcher gets to finally be around Becca again.
Yeah.
And you see a change in him. You see the thing of, like, if he can just get Becca out of this, that he can start working himself to being okay again, because his mission is going to be nearly complete. Well, Homelander has a son, and the motherfucker's still crazy.
Well, that's
where I still look at, like, Butcher, at least maybe not being written quite bad enough.
Well, that's the great story of a vengeance tale. Everything you do to go progress, you're leaving ripples effect that's going to bite you in the ass later on.
Mm-hmm. Like what happens with the son in this series too.
He protects the son. He protects Becca. What happened? Becca dies, and now the son's all alone. Mm-hmm. All right. Then we get to the next part of the story where they go back to. All right. So the son is in hiding with the CIA agent. They go in there and talk to her. She gives the whole story of the payback team. Blah 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 blah. The Russians took him. Payback was responsible. They took a hit. It looks like they took a beating.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And that's all we're given. Mm-hmm. And that's when Butcher takes a realization. It's like, oh fuck, if I'm still around this boy,
he's gonna fucking die, or something can happen to him.
He's gonna get took.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die, and he's gonna see it. And then my whole vengeance tale stops, because that's, if you stop the vengeance tale, that's it.
Yeah.
So the only crux of this whole story of someone being happy is Hughie and Starlight. That's the only thing that can be positive in a show or a story like this. Is Hughie loved and lost and found love again. Starlight was assaulted. She found someone she's safe with, and that's it. That's the whole part of the boys.
And Frenchie and Kimiko.
Yeah,
there's a
in
chance.
the comics, it's Hughie and Starlight centric.
Yeah,
because that's the drive of the narrative. It's like they're trying to work with their friends to try to get this situation handled. But these two forces, Butcher and Homelander, are making it really fucking hard.
Yeah. So because they're on
way difficult, and we need it to fucking be.
Yeah, because Starlight's
and that's the thing about Butcher. Butcher's willing to sacrifice his whole fucking team to do one fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
Sacrifices relationship with his.
And Homelander will fat shame people.
Yes, he does.
I like how he just
A-Train, you piece of shit.
Huh, you having another fucking milkshake, fatty? I'm just like, this dude is like an athlete.
Yeah.
But yeah, so right after that conversation with Mallory, MM rejoins the boys, seeking to avenge his family's death by Soldier Boy's hands. So that's a pretty good narrative push for him as well. And then after learning that Stormfront committed suicide, because by that point, this was a random thing. I was expecting them to do a little more with this. I felt it was kind of...
It's random.
It was kind of random.
I feel like we didn't need all of this leading up to it. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, but you find out the Stormfront is being held like a chicken nugget in a little safe house in Vought Tower or whatever, and Homelander still like sees her, and like they still have like this weird sexual undertone to their relationship. And
he gets a tug with her one arm.
It's just like the fuck.
And I think that's why that's probably a good reason to get rid of her, because it's just like it's a drag on the story. It's like now we're constantly walking about another character who was a big bad. But it's nothing now.
Yeah.
A chicken nugget.
They shouldn't have just held on to her. They should just let her go.
Yeah, and I think that was the easiest way they could without saying, oh no, she just died.
Never mind.
And it was good to see her heartbroken when she died too. So.
But R.I.P. Nazi. She's fully gone now. And then
R.I.P. Nazi, the official stance of Alex.
Yes. Please call her out by her name.
Just Alex?
Just Alex.
I'm like sitting here observing it. I'm like, take it like if you read it just as a sentence.
No, not Stormfront.
Yeah, I was like, if you read it just as a sentence, that maybe sounds bad, but in context, no, fuck it. Bye.
My name's Alex, and I miss the Nazis.
No.
That's what I heard.
I know, that's what you heard.
That's my narrative.
That's your narrative. That's not at all what I meant.
But then Homelander fucking loses it and tells this poor girl to just jump.
Jump. Just fucking
off
jump.
a building.
So this is a cool little thing. It goes into the DC comics, because there's a comic where Superman prevents a woman from jumping, but he doesn't do it by snatching her up. He does it by talking to her.
Yeah.
And I just love that. The opposite.
He's like, today's my celebration day.
He's like, you're going to go to hell, right? Well, I'm Jewish. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
You know what? Just fucking jump. I don't give a shit.
He's like, my girlfriend just died. I'm just done.
Well, now you have to jump. Like,
that's the part where just
because he told us, he's like, if you don't jump,
I'll fucking push you.
I'll push you. I'll kill you, bitch.
She's like, never mind. I don't want to jump. He's like, that wasn't a question.
Yeah. I did see a great meme. It's like when you go to your therapist, your card is declined. And he's like, "What? You just jump, Susan?"
Yeah, I saw
that
too. You just jump, bitch. And it's like, God damn, that's cold as ice.
Yeah.
But another interesting little wrinkle, and I thought it was a good way to kind of further his mental decline, was through that little rant he gave her, where he's just like, today's my birthday celebration.
He's like Jesus. Oh my God! And he compares himself to Jesus.
Yes, and he was all like, "I don't know if this is my actual day. It's just the day Vought decided that we're going to celebrate my birthday. I don't know when my actual birthday is. Yada yada yada." And you just like see him just slowly dripping in that decline.
And I love her face the whole time, like. Do I know too much? Now I have to. Oh my God!
Well, no, it was him like venting all of that. Was when she was like, "Never mind, I don't want to jump." He's like, "No, you just do it." She's like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Just do it." Fuck
Suicide by proxy. Yeah, it'll make me feel better if you jump.
Seriously.
And I love her like the fall, and then the CEO of Vought, or no, not the CEO, but the redheaded chick, the media girl, is just like, put the camera away, god damn it!
Right.
I used to feel bad for that woman. By the end of this, I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that was the joke you were making about with me plucking my eyebrows.
Oh god, she's a fucking sadist.
She's insane. Not just a sadist. But yeah, we have gone on for 54 minutes. We're only on episode 3.
Are you serious?
Y'all.
Are we gonna have to do like a fucking part 2?
Yeah, fuck yeah, we are.
I was gonna
There's a
say
lot to
that, or we
unpack
just
in
gotta
this.
fucking stay on track.
There's a lot to pick apart in this season.
Episode 3, the Barbie Coast. Barbary Coast, yeah. Fuck that extra R's. Barbie. Or the sexy extra B, whatever. Homelander's approval rating among rural white Americans skyrockets, especially the male demographic, subjecting him to less scrutiny from Vought executives, which is very important because this is when they're really starting to mirror our political system.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, it's Donald Trump. Let's just go ahead and say it.
Yeah.
Well,
But even
he's
then-
like, no, these are the elites. They want to dumb you down.
Yeah,
blah,
it's
blah,
that
blah,
whole.
blah. It's the conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. They play into like the whole like conspiracy deal with all that shit.
Yeah.
And now Homelander believing himself to be untouchable and now threatening genocide, pressures Annie into reinstating the Deep, which she really doesn't want to do because of season 1.
Yeah.
She worked hard to get his ass out of there, and now he's like,
But he's reformed and has
accept his apology.
has
I
a new
love
girlfriend.
his new initiation.
Yeah.
Oh my god, his part was
it's in that thing.
yeah, like it's a
he's-
turkey or something like that. He's gonna
he's
open
like,
the fucking
Here you
plate.
go. Here's your meal. And it's a CGI live octopus named Timothy.
Yeah.
And I was like,
He goes like, "That's my friend."
he's like, put it in your goddamn mouth. And like his wife, the Deep's wife's like, fucking do it. He'll kill us both. Like,
No, because at the very beginning, I think she got mad at the octopus because the Deep and his new girlfriend are having sex in his room, and you see the octopus in the fucking tank, and he's just getting off to the octopus.
yeah, he's talking to the octopus while he's fucking her.
Yeah.
But like, so they put it in his mouth, and I saw like the behind the scenes on that, and I'm just like, that is fucking intense because he's putting marshmallows in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he ad-libbed a line. He's praying.
That was ad lib. Because that part is what got me.
Oh God, that was fucking fantastic. He's like, he's
praying.
The octopi can pray.
Yeah, they are sentient beings.
I was going to say, they have a
god. They have a god.
Annie is also forced to publicly pose as Homelander's new lover, fearing for the safety of her ex-boyfriend Alex / Supersonic. She pleads with him to not join the Seven because he's part of like this new talent show where they're going to pick a new member
Soup's
of
Got
the
Talent
Seven.
or some shit.
Yeah.
It's a reality show of like who gets to join the Seven, and I just love the breakdown. And it's just like, we can't have a Muslim on the team. I'm just like, God damn. He's like, we can't have Captain Taliban on the fucking team.
I know it just gets super racist.
Yeah, it's just like, God damn.
Yeah. But no, let's add Supersonic. Fuck it.
By the way, I like his
Whose
fucking
talent is singing a song
it's
about
being in a
fucking
boy band in
Yeah,
fucking
fucking
2001 or whatever the fuck.
in fucking 16
By
year
the way,
olds.
by the way, that song is fantastic.
Yeah, he does. License to drive or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, it's just like, you have the license to drive me crazy. Now that you're 16.
It's like the entire time you're like, ooh.
And you know-
and then like ends on that line and you're like, oh.
It's like, this is some Lou Pearlman shit.
This is some Kiss shit.
Every boy band shit. But no. But that implies that they were lovers, and shit happens with Supersonic too.
I
that
love
we'll
her
get into.
like backhanded a compliment or backhanded thing she said to Hughie. She's like, because he got jealous, and she's
Yeah.
like, did you fuck around with this dude? She's like, oh, it was anal, it didn't count.
She's like, I'm fucking with you, Hughie, you jealous piece of shit.
So she need to like shock his dick or something. Like,
Right.
you fucking little prick.
This is also when Mallory tells the boys that the payback crew wound up assaulting and mutilating Black Noir, and then supposedly Soldier Boy was killed by a Russian super weapon. And they're like, well, yeah, no shit, we're after that super weapon.
Right.
But you start getting a lot more backstory on Black Noir, and I really like that.
The Black Noir shit is so fucking weird.
It is, but I love his shit in the series.
By the way, the guy that played young Stan in that flashback scene was awesome. The guy that plays the young version of that actor nailed it.
No, I thought that was really cool, but I thought like Black Noir was pretty underutilized, like in season 1, and then in season 2 he was kind of used as kind of like almost as the joke. He was done for a lot of that tense comic moment.
So Black Noir is the greatest slapstick character in the whole series because
He's a mute.
Yeah, because he's a mute, he doesn't talk.
And you find out why.
But because his body language says everything, and it get like even with. Like Homelander when he addresses the Seven, he's like, "You guys need to pick it the fuck up." Except for you, Black Noir. You're a beautiful starfish. I love you.
Yeah, the guy whoever plays him, his body language fucking nails it.
Because he's like he doesn't have to pay attention because he does his shit perfect. All he has to do is fucking stand there.
Yep.
Well, see,
and Homelander treats him like a fucking brother.
Oh yeah, and I think it's the only person that he wound up respecting throughout everyone.
Like Homelander will tell his whole fucking problems to him, and Black Noir's like
doesn't respond or anything.
Yeah. He doesn't mouth back.
All he has to do,
throws a thumbs up. He's like, "Word, motherfucker."
All he has to do is listen.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you find out through Black Noir's backstory though that like he was supposed to be part of like this comedy movie and like all this other stuff. So
he was going to be Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, that's what it was. And so it's like
you're not even that fucking funny.
Yeah.
So it's like you find out through that he was supposed like he had humor in his system already. He was predisposed to want to be a funny person. So for the fact that they pulled that in all the way to season 1 with his physicality being really humorous and then them pulling back and revealing that little extra piece, that was extremely satisfying for me.
Well, anytime he's walking around or just interacting with people, it's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's brutal as shit, it's still fucking hilarious.
And that's what I loved about it. So I like that little Easter egg that, he was supposed to be in Beverly Hills Cop and have a comedy acting role.
Or like when he finds out that we haven't gotten to where like Soldier Boy like appears yet, have we?
No, this is all
not quite.
flashbacks.
Okay, cool. But
Thanks for the spoiler cap, God.
I mean, I would hope everybody. I would hope
I know.
everybody listening to this would have heard it already.
Well, I was just playing along with it, being like, "Soldier Boy's dead. We've got to find the weapon." And I was still playing along.
I still think he's coming back next season.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, at that point, because then that's when Mallory is talking about stuff with Butcher, and Ryan lashes out and storms out, and Butcher's all back and forth. Rather, Butcher's doing all that. And Ryan feels all dejected. It's all bad all the way around.
Yeah, it's a combination of...
We covered that.
Yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things.
Yeah. And then he has his Frenchie contact the former boss, Little Nina, to arrange transport to Russia so they can get that weapon.
Oh, yeah.
This is the kind of a thing I didn't like because they could have just done it the way the comics was. Little Nina is actually little.
Like she's a little person?
Yes. A midget, if you will.
Well, then you wouldn't have liked it.
I would have liked it. Because just her just like stabbing motherfuckers. It's like because she doesn't have superpowers. She's just a little midget who's just really mean. And it's just
but we all know you have things against the.
I don't have things against them. I don't want to be near them.
Would it have made her scarier? Huh? Would it have made her scarier?
Because it's like, can you imagine just a little midget walking up behind you, cutting the back of your knee, and being like, "Where's my drugs?"
Like a Russian mob boss version.
Yeah, she was a Russian mob boss.
Yeah.
Ruthless bitch.
Episode 4 is the glorious 5-year plan in which Butcher meets Nina and negotiates the boys' travel to Russia in exchange for assassinating one of Nina's targets.
Oh yeah, Nina's like, yeah, you got to do me a fucking favor.
And the Solid is really fucks up.
Yeah.
So this is where Butcher kind of like,
uses them.
Yeah, this is where you start seeing like the heel turn a little bit.
And he's like, no, you're going to send her in there. And like Frenchie's like, dude, she doesn't want to fucking do that anymore. And he's like, what? What the fuck did you say?
It's like,
this is a dictatorship, motherfucker. You're going to do what I say.
No,
Speaking of dicks.
I think the line is like, I'm not a fucking gun. And he goes, the fuck you're not, in so many words.
Yeah. Bullshit. Here's your bullets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, they meet this sex fiend mob boss who is really into some weird shit. But Kimiko casually walks in, and I was kind of curious how this was going to go.
Me too.
And it didn't disappoint. Because she kills a man with a dildo.
Yes. She kills multiple men with multiple dildos.
Yeah, super powered dildos.
He pulls back this like fucking like closet full of like, you know, foot long fucking dildos and shit like that.
There's
all themed.
Yeah, they're all themed like Homelander, Black Noir, Starlight even has one.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Well, see, and I love that because I feel like that is a reference to the Marvel themed ones. They're all fan art, but someone made like a Hulk dildo where it's like massive, green, and veiny.
Hulk smash.
And
it'd be funny if you just opened it and there's like a Bruce Banner regular size one.
Right?
Oh, that would be fantastic. I love that.
Peter Parker.
All it does,
I call this the Peter.
Little Peter.
All this one does is just spits out science facts.
It actually turns you off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so someone made like a whole line of like, you know, fake Marvel dildos. So I just feel like that was a callback to that one. I like that though. But yeah, just fucking massacres everyone in there. I forget what song was playing, but it was even a fucking banger of a song too.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack on this is fucking fantastic.
Again, Amazon Flex. Look what we can use.
Yeah, because we have Amazon Music.
Exactly.
Fuck you. Yeah, and Kimiko definitely feels rather dejected after that specific one. That was the murder scene that like clicked with her where she was
gets
just
shot
like,
in the head.
Yeah,
by a prostitute, and she gets back up, and like they're like the Terminator kind of, and
they are freaking.
They're freaking out because they think they're going to get murdered too, and she's like, no, god damn it, like, and leaves.
Yeah. Actually, no, she's more like,
yeah,
and leaves.
Drops the dildo and leaves.
I'm sorry, that's going to be my ongoing joke for Kimiko.
That's some fucking Soprano shit. Just kill somebody and just drop the gun and just kill someone with a dildo and just drop it and leave.
Right. That kind of happens with like the big mouth Billy Bass in that one episode.
Yeah. No, don't.
Yeah. And then so Hughie winds up learning about the temp V from Butcher and asks him to use him. Butcher's like, no, you can't have it, Hughie. It's a fucking Dewey Cox saying. He's like, you don't want none of this shit, Hughie.
It makes you feel good, makes you feel powerful.
You don't want none of this shit, Hughie.
I know, it's what it's really like.
Well, Butcher, I think I kind of do.
It gives you superpowers.
Makes you feel all the good feelings.
I think I might try a little of that.
Yep, so he winds up stealing some and takes a dose and kills some of the Russian soldiers secretly guarding the laboratory inside. And then once they get in there, Butcher discovers a still living soldier boy who then releases an energy blast that renders Kimiko powerless and wounded before escaping. So that's the first time we've seen that a super's power can completely wipe the power of another.
Yeah. So it kind of works like it could either just if it depends on how it uses it. So if we see him concentrate it and kill superheroes.
Yeah.
We see it concentrate and kill people. Mm-hmm. But if you have some type of superpower, you have a chance of surviving it.
Yeah.
So Kimiko gets hit with like a light pop, but it zaps her and she goes through a few walls. So yeah, she took a beating.
Yeah, and it's like because even though he has a lot pent up, I would assume this is kind of like their version of Carbonite, where like his body is just kind of in a stasis mode where it's not really rejuvenating anything, but it's not also building anything either.
Yeah, so he's like a walking nuclear bomb.
Yeah, so when he pops out, he's not necessarily at full charge yet either. So that was just a really light pop that she got, but it was still enough to knock the fucking wind out of her sail and not have her rejuvenating powers like we just saw her have.
Yeah, and while they're on the run, Butcher becomes still a fucking prick. He's like, I should be fine. It's like, no, dude, she's bleeding the fuck out.
Yeah.
She's the best. Like, she's the super of us. So she needs help.
I think the only person he genuinely cares about is Hughie.
Even then, I don't think so.
Well,
he does things that are nice for Hughie. Mm-hmm. But he also keeps Hughie in the dark, which risks his life every fucking day.
I think a lot of it is guilt too, because he carries the guilt of his little brother around too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which we get to in a few episodes.
And I love the fact, just a quick go back. Hughie can't be around Newman for a period of time so they can go to Russia. So his bright idea of still just calling in sick is to have Kimiko break his motherfucking arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, go light, and she's like, okay. And like, I love MM's like, here, you want to bite on this, bro? And she snaps bone. She doesn't like flick his elbow and just like fracture his elbow. She snaps that motherfucker like a toothpick.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you could have gone light. Like, why didn't you just like love tap him in the shoulder and dislocate his shoulder or some shit? You bitch.
I know. It's like, well, she did. Was that when she still had her powers?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he needed a reason to be away from Newman because he's scared shitless of Newman.
Yeah. I would be too if I found out my boss was a head popper like that. I would not want to piss her off nor work for her.
Yeah.
And so at that point, during a press conference regarding Homelander's behavior, Newman betrays Edgar by accusing him of corruption, which that was a air-sucking moment. Like I was so excited. Like I was like, oh shit, this episode 4, this is maybe about halfway through the series. This is when things are really going to kick off. She's going to expose, she's going to say some shit. And then it was like, wait, no, fuck. And Homelander walks in being like, yeah, what were y'all watching? What were you expecting?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you motherfucker.
She's just bad as the rest of them.
Yeah, this kind of changes the tone of the show a little bit.
A little, yeah.
Because we don't see Edgar die.
But he's
He's still around.
Whisked away.
Yeah, he's somewhere, but he's not done. He didn't blow up and half his face go
we
away.
we don't see him get killed.
No, but
No, I'm sure he'll be back.
It is a turn because she wants Compound V for her daughter because she sees where the path of everything's going, and she wants her kid to have powers, just be safe on the back end.
Yeah.
Which I can understand that. That's totally understandable. You know, with the turn, like if you're seeing something that's actually happening in real time and you know the outcome, prepare for it.
Yeah, but I don't know though. That still just felt like an eerie moment, like when she got it and like injected her kid and everything. It just it felt like such an eerie like.
Yeah, even though the reason was like validated or whatever, it's still cold.
Well, that's the hard thing about good intention. You know, it's hard to validate that.
Yeah.
With the nasty shit you had to do. Mm-hmm. And like it kind of We've all seen stories like that. Oh, we had to do a bunch of nasty shit to get this done. It's what we have to do.
So we're complicated.
That's all the whole show's about. Doing terrible shit to stop other terrible shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like if they didn't do it, there'd be some Ant-Man blowing up dicks all over town.
Right.
And also something we hadn't really mentioned, another little ongoing thread throughout the season has been A-Train. Trying to get back in with his roots a little bit, like we hadn't seen it written that out much of the synopsis, but we kind of dig into it by the next episode more. But throughout this, A-Train's trying to find himself.
It's kind of like Deep, where he's trying to bring his redeeming qualities back, even though we've seen him kill already.
Yeah.
And last time we saw A-Train, he basically fucked himself up so much he cannot run.
And that's
well, he can't run without the risk of a heart attack.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what I like about this series in particular, about how Deep and A-Train are both trying to put on a good face, like, oh, we're not so bad, we're trying to be good guys. But then as the series progresses, no,
they're still shit heels.
They're still shit heels, exactly.
Yeah. And so he's getting bullied in the hallway. Hey, Fitty. And like I love that, just because it's like he's not though, and like how Homelander is like, a little side story. Homelander is not built in real life.
No.
The
actor who plays Homelander is Stray Man.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Stray Man. So
watch Auntie Donna's House of Fun on Netflix. He was a character on
the
there.
The guy that plays him is awesome. I'll see him in anything.
So Soldier Boy, the guy who plays Soldier Boy, got ripped for this fucking series, and like he did like the whole superhero training, gymnastics, weightlifted, and he was literally told on set by the guy that plays Homelander, he's like, dude, why the fuck did you do that? They could have made you a suit with muscles. And like, he sounded so defeated during the interview process. He's like, oh my God. He's like, could have made you a suit with muscles. And that's all Homelander is. He looks like Shazam. A dude with a tiny head and a big ass body.
That's hilarious. Well, fucking Deep's like ripped too.
Well, that's what he looks
That's more
like.
lean muscle.
But that's because he swims all the
exactly.
time. It's a whole body workout.
And plus that, for that actor, that's probably like maybe a month of training.
That's probably fine. That's just fine for him. Like Maeve is built a little bit, but not creepy like Wonder Woman.
Yeah, so it's like all those actor and actresses. That's probably like maybe a month of hardcore working out and diet before set if they just like maintain their not maintain, but like just don't get fucking fat throughout the rest of the year. Just like maintain a decent, yeah, like a fucking A-Train.
Meanwhile, yeah, but
an
I was saying,
obese motherfucker.
I said, meanwhile, A-Train using like fucking Chris Hemsworth's trainer or some shit.
Yeah, like you're trying to be Thor, God of Thunder.
Well, yeah, he's like eating this big ass plate of shit, and Homelander's like, "You keep eating that?" And he's like, "I need a certain amount of carbs." He's like, "Yeah, when you ran."
Yeah. I like how he like. So he's got a super suit on, and he like pokes his super suit.
Yeah.
He's like, "That doesn't seem lean."
Yeah.
You fatty. And was it
Alex later tries to trip A-Train after witnessing getting mistreated by Homelander and the Deep, because the Deep's digging in on him too. The Deep wants this to be fucking Homelander's right-hand man.
Yeah, he'll suck his dick if he
Yeah,
has to.
spineless. That's the Deep in this season.
Him and his wife.
Yeah. And at this point, Homelander goes up to Annie and he's like, "Hey, why don't you come with me? I want to show you something. Hey, you want to go see something? Hey, come here. I want to show you something.
Well,
come here.
He's like, no Homelander. I really don't want that.
Too bad. Come here. I'm just gonna show you something. Come here.
Well, he does the whole day. You go, well, let's just fly out, or she's like, well, I can't fly. He's like, that's okay. Zip.
Yeah.
But it's because Supersonic let A-Train in on the information, and he betrayed him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he got turned into a pile of mush.
Yeah. Basically, A-Train was told, not A-Train, Supersonic was told to be quiet. He did not, and got his jaw ripped off.
Yeah.
He got eviscerated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like Starlight just like powering up for a second. And he's like, do it. Fucking do it, you stupid bitch.
Yeah. He's like, try. Although it is interesting though, because at the end we see her power up and then blast Soldier Boy. And that knocks his ass back pretty good. So that's
like an amped up version.
An enraged version.
Yeah,
oh yeah, with all the lights in the studio.
The whole
too.
thing about her is she sucks energy from around her from a certain like light. She sucks in light energy,
and that's actually a really cool superpower. Like take it, like put it in like a Marvel series or something. Like outside of the boys, that's a cool power.
There was a one in Marvel called Sunburst. Who would do that shit? Who was kind of useless during the day.
Do solar flares.
Well, yeah, they'd suck up sunlight and just blast it. It was a cool little character.
It's like Krillin or some shit.
Yeah, Krillin. the S though, the fucking C tier character.
Yes,
who gets first one to die
every season.
Cannon fodder Krillin.
Yeah, and then at that point, Homelander's just like, look. You can't plan shit. My boys are going to tell me about your boys, and I'm going to kill people that try planning against me. So, are you my girl or not?
Yeah. You don't have a choice.
And that's where they kind of leave episode 4. But I tell you what, since we've already had a pretty full episode, let's split this bitch into 2 parts, and we'll be right back next week with the wrap up of The Boys Season 3. But for this episode, I've been Alex.
This is Cap.
And Chris, do you have any final thoughts on part 1? Because we're going to have to do the Stranger Things also. Part 1 of The Boys Season 3.
I think a highlight of this is just seeing, like, even if you were to, like, if they did this as a 2-parter in, like, the show, kind of like Stranger Things was, this would have been the spot to stop.
It would have, and that's why I was like, yeah, this is a good time to pause this one, too.
Because a great part of this was, if you noticed, if you go back and watch it, the end of this episode, they're driving away. The boys are. They're driving away, and Hughie has his fucking arm hanging out the window, and he has power for the first time.
Because he used it earlier.
And that is the first thing they've ever done with him to make him resemble Hughie in the comics as a monster.
I was going to say, because you see kind of that build up a little bit.
Yeah, and so I think the storytelling alone of them trying just to do the comics, because they can never do it verbatim, because it would be NC-17, and you can only watch it on Pornhub. Right. But,